Hi guys, today we are focusing on division. Division is the inverse operation for multiplication, which means it's the opposite. So we're going to break things apart into equal groups. And in third grade, you guys called it fair sharing, I believe. So let's go ahead and get started with just some precise words. Dividend, divisor, quotient, remainder. You'll hear these words a lot. So if you want to, on the next slide, you'll see how we use them. So the dividend is the amount that we start with. The divisor is how many groups we're breaking it up into. And the quotient is the answer. A remainder is how many that do not fit in the equal groups. It's the one that's remaining, okay? So my question for you before we start, and I want you to pause your video and think about it, is when will we use division outside of math class? Why do we even need to learn how to divide? I want you to take a second and think about it, and then come back and I'll tell you some ways. All right, so division's important outside of math or outside of school if you are going to share. For example, if I make cookies at my house, and I have 4 people in my family, maybe I have 12 cookies. Well, how many cookies will each member of my family get? So 12 divided by 4 equals the number of cookies that each person would get, right? We would break it up into equal parts. So last year, you guys learned breaking it apart and putting it into equal groups. So 5 divided by 2, that means we took those 5. I like to refer to my dividend as cookies, because who doesn't like cookies? So if I have 5 cookies and I'm sharing them, my divisor being 2, which means 2 people or 2 groups, how many cookies would each person get? So 5 divided by 2. I'm going to break it apart. So I'm going to count to 5 and fair share, equal sharing, breaking it apart into groups. So I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can't put this 5th cookie over here because that wouldn't be fair. That would mean like Michael had 5 cookies or 3 cookies and Alexander had 2. That's not fair. So that means each of my children would get 2 cookies, and then there's a remainder of 1. I want you to take a second and try to use these words, dividend, divisor, quotient, and remainder. How could you use them to describe this equation? Hopefully you said to yourself, well, the 5 is the dividend, the 2 is the divisor, the 2 remainder 1 is my quotient. But specifically, I have an R to show the remainder of 1, right? We still have that 1. I also want you thinking as we go through these slides today, how could you check your work? How could you double check and see for a division equation if you are correct? Maybe start thinking about the inverse operation. All right, Mrs. Andrews is going to model for you, ooh la la, 18 divided by 3. And our variable is t. Listen how I read my equation. A dividend of 18 divided by a divisor of 3 equals a quotient of, I don't know yet. So let's go ahead and get started. So I like to think about food, right? So I have 18 cookies and I'm breaking it up into 3 groups. So I'm going to I'm going to just take my pen here and I'm going to count to 18, doing that fair sharing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now that I've divided them all up, I'm going to see how many in each group there are. There's 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, which means t equals 6. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Now, I did tell you, I want you to think about how could we double check our work? So we would do the inverse operation. We would check and see the opposite. 6 times 3, does it equal 18? 6, 12, 18. Awesome. So the inverse operation is multiplication. All right, friends, let's have you try this next one using our strategy of equal groups or fair sharing. Same thing, just different ways to say it. Let's try reading the equation together. A dividend of 16 divided by a divisor of 4 equals a quotient of, I don't know yet. Pause your video and try this one, breaking it apart into equal groups. Check back with me to see your answer. Oops. Notice when I'm making my, I'm dividing it up into equal groups. I'm not spending forever making a dot. It's really quick, it's simple, just straight to the points. I also try not to scatter them or put them too close together because I have to go back and count them to find my quotient or my answer. So now that I look, I see that there's 0 left over. Hopefully you had the same as well. Each group had 4, which means my quotient or my answer, F equals 4. How could I double check my work? 4 times 4, 4, 8, 12, 16 equals 16. So I know it matches. 16 and 16 are the same. Let's keep working hard. Here we go. Let's try this one. 17 divided by 3. A dividend of 17 divided by a divisor of 3 equals a quotient of, let's get started. I like to think of cookies, friends. So I have 17 cookies. I'm dividing them with 3 friends. So I'm going to go ahead and divide. I'm going to count to 17. Watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, wait, I don't want to do that because that means this group has 6, this group has 6, and this group has 5. That's not fair. So I'm going to delete, maybe I'm not, one of these because I want them all to be the same. So when I did that, now they all have, that's supposed to be a 2. They all have 5. And I have 2 of these little dots left over because I couldn't break them up evenly. We need it fair. Division's all about being fair. So that means my quotient or my answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is 5 with that remainder of 2. Okay, so each group will get 5 and there will be 2 left over. Okay, I want you to try one with a remainder. So you guys try this one. 24 divided by 5. So a dividend of 24 divided by a divisor of 5 equals, go for it. Pause your video and try this out, okay? Oh, that's Sully. All right, so when we divided them up, we realized that we're dividing them amongst 5 friends. 5. So we're going to divide this number up by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, wait a second, friends. That's not fair. I'm going to erase 1, 2, 3, and 4, because that's not fair sharing. There would be one person that didn't have the same amount. 1, 2, 3, 4 are left over. So my answer, 1, 2, 3, 4, each group has 4, and then there's a remainder of 4, okay? So this is dividing. At this time, if you have any questions on what we learned so far about division, I need you to message me in the chat back on the Zoom link, or write me an email, or maybe even your homeroom teacher, because this is all review from 3rd grade. Tomorrow, we're going to focus on big problems, like if I had 365 cookies and I divided them by 4, I don't want to count out 365 cookies. So I'm going to show you a different strategy tomorrow of how to divide. All right? Thanks for working hard. Remember, during goal time or brain breaks, that's a great time to work on those multiplication Sunday challenge. You're not supposed to be doing it by yourself. That's something you need to do with a teacher. So make sure you are using your time wisely, because that ice cream Sunday party is going to be here before you know it. Thanks for working hard, guys.